I have been living in the United States for a while now, and I have come to realize that American and food have the best love story of all time. Your love really does define space and time. Like, just imagine you are living in a country that are located in North America, yet you can enjoy food that are continent away, like those from central Turkey or from southern India. And those are usually just a few steps away from your house or a 30-minute drive, depending on your financial situations. And you can choose whether you want the Americanized version of your food, i.e. the bad choice, or the authentic version from the people who used to live in those countries and who's making those food for your wonderful palate in small mom and pop restaurant, also known as the preferred choice. See, a love story that defines space and time. I, however, grew up in a different situation. So at first, I found the notion of eating anything and everything from everywhere is a bit odd, and for good reason too, since I was so used to eating the food from the same culture. My stomach was not able to handle such diversity at first. I'm much better at it now, so please don't worry. And on that cheery note, I want to present to you today's video, A Bite of Vietnam, a cultural tour of the Vietnamese cuisine. For me, I was fortunate enough to be born in Vietnam, a country with great historic and cultural value. And though that is true, the world's mostly know us through our food. And as Vietnamese cuisine is getting more and more popular, I'll take you on a short tour to show you a general view of Vietnamese cuisine through the eye of a Vietnamese citizen living abroad. Now, the first thing you need to know about my country is that we were conquered quite often. I mean, we were a small country back then, so it's only naturals. So from 43 to 939, Vietnam was a part of China known as Nam Việt. Because our country was colonized for so long, like nearly 1,000 years, our culture and history are deeply influenced by those of China. Influence can be clearly seen through the similarities between Vietnamese cuisine and Chinese cuisine. For example, both of this cuisine has rice as their staple food and a variety of wheat-based food. The family meal in Vietnam usually comprised of three dishes accompanied by soup, which is similar to the common family meal they would serve in China. Now, aside from being a territory of China, a territory, yes, that's right. Aside from being a territory of China, Vietnam is also located at a major Asian crossroad and has borrowed generously from many other countries. And as you can see here, similar to most Asian countries, a common Vietnamese meal would have five colors: red, yellow, white, green, and black. Because we believe that the presence of all five colors will make a healthy and balanced meal. And because it just looks so pretty when presenting together like this. Now, after Vietnam gaining independence from China in 939, we have what you would call relative peace with our neighboring country. China did try to have multiple rebound with us after the breakup. Like, they would start a couple of war for every new dynasty. I mean, what can I say? We were great and they miss us. During this time, our food and our eating habit did not change significantly until our modern history period. After about 1,000 years of that relative peace, the French came and colonized our country. And along with their capitalism exploitation, they also brought over their culture, language, as well as their cuisine. And like that old saying of it never rained but it poured, with the destruction of World War II and the established colonization, there was a massive famine nationwide that killed over 2 million people. So I guess it's fair to say that the authentic Vietnamese cuisine at that time was simply edible. On an international scale, though, if there was a cuisine in Vietnam before 1945, it was likely practiced by the French. And it was also during this time that one of the most iconic French-influenced Vietnamese food came to be, bánh mì, which comes from the French word for baguette. But you know that already, because you are smart cookies. However, as much as Vietnamese cuisine has borrowed or been influenced by various cultures, we have succeeded in retaining our unique character. Like I mentioned in my human creation myth videos, please go check that out, it's quite good. Vietnam has an awful long coastline running from north to south. Therefore, fishing is a thriving industry ever since the beginning of our country. Now, as you may have known, in day of pre-refrigeration, people were highly creative with preservation method, and so was the Vietnamese. One of the ways the early Vietnamese came up with to keep food fresh longer was to turn mum, small baby fishes, into a smelly, delicious sauce that later became a symbol of Vietnam. Now, this is just my personal opinion, but I really am not sure about the delicious part. I think that the sauce itself is just very salty and very smelly. But, if you know how to mix it correctly with other ingredients, it is truly very, very good. However, we do not only have this sauce. For table sauce, Vietnam also has tương hổ bean sauce, sốt tương hoisin sauce, tương ớt ground chili paste, dầu hào oyster sauce, and nước tương soy sauce to accompany our main dishes. So you may say that table sauce are the key ingredient of Vietnamese food. Nonetheless, when we're talking about Vietnamese cuisine, invasion and table sauce are probably not the first thing that comes to your mind. The first thing that comes to your mind when you're planning to click on this video is an image of a nice hot bowl of pho, aka rice noodle soup in beef broth. If that's the case, then shame on you. You do know that's not the only thing we have, right? Please go try something new as well. I'm pretty sure you like it as much as pho. But also, thank you so much for knowing one dish from our country. As the most well-known Vietnamese dishes, Viet Pho is a typical dish that proudly represents Vietnamese cuisine in the world. But did you know that pho has only been around ever since the 20th century, 100 years for it to become our country's symbol? There's really not much tradition or story behind it. It's just simply an exceptionally good dish that many people like. Now, besides from pho, Vietnam has an array of other noodle soup dishes like bún bò Huế, a spicier version of Vietnamese beef noodle soup. This version, unlike pho, is mainly assembled in a soup pot, not a serving bowl. Moreover, we also have bún riêu, Vietnamese noodle tomato soup with crab meat. These are just a few iconic noodle soup dishes from Vietnam. And like I said earlier, if you have only known Vietnamese food through pho, please give these dishes a try. They're all amazingly good. And with that, we have come to an end on our tour around Vietnamese cuisine. I hope that this video has given you a new way to look at Vietnamese food, and I hope that after watching these videos, every time you go to a Vietnamese restaurant that is either a few steps away from your house or a 30-minute drive on the highway, you can still find appreciation for the rich history and culture that is presented to you from our food. Hello everybody, thank you so much for watching this videos. If you enjoyed that video, please hit like and subscribe to my channels. And if you did not, that's okay too. I still love you and I'll promise to try harder next time. Please comment on what subject you would like to see and I will make a videos about that. Thank you so much and see you again. Bye bye.